I'm John Robert Franklin, and today we're going to be going over the original Daiquiri. And in doing so, I'm going to show you some techniques for the perfect shaken cocktail, which will be the cornerstone to executing all your shaken cocktails in the future. And that all starts with the proper measurements and the proper dilution. Every bartender has had the request, give it a little more oomph. Make it a strong one, or the oh so subtle, less ice. Yeah, we're talking some classy shit. You know, and that's fine if you're slinging Jack and Cokes or Boilermakers down at the local watering hole. But we're not here. We're making something, much like baking, takes precision and execution in order to get the proper outcome. But all that being said, let's jump into our first shaken cocktail of the series, the Daiquiri. So an amazing beverage director by the name of Don Perrone, that I had the privilege of learning this craft under, always told me that he judged a bar and a bartender by whether or not they could make him the perfect Daiquiri. And I concur. And we're not talking that overplayed vacation bullshit, frozen strawberry, whatever the fuck that comes out of a machine. We're talking OG shit. The shit that Hemingway looked at and loved and said to his favorite bartender, hey, make this for me, but make it a little different because I'm Hemingway and I'm special. But the Hemingway Daiquiri's for another day. Today, we're gonna stick to the OG Daiquiri. Now, the original Daiquiri consists of 2 parts white rum, 1 part lime juice, and 1 part simple syrup, which for a single drink would equate to 2 ounces of white rum, 1 ounce of lime juice, and 1 ounce of simple syrup. Now, I know I'm about to contradict myself with the whole make it stronger bit, but I find, as well as many other bartenders, that the ratio of 2 ounces of white rum to 3/4 ounce lime juice and 3/4 ounce simple syrup is a much better ratio. I think it gives better body and leaves the rum being the star of the cocktail. And we didn't just add more booze to something, we left the alcohol exactly the same. We just fine-tuned the ratio a little bit that myself and many other bartenders believe is a better balanced cocktail. So, as with any cocktail, it all starts in the prep work. And a great place to start is with juice and citrus. Just about every opening bartender shift in a craft cocktail bar starts with juicing citrus. And it should, because fresh citrus is the cornerstone to our shaken cocktails. Now, if you're in a rush and you just want to throw together a quick cocktail, you can go to the store and buy pre-bottled lime juice or lemon juice. I think Lakewood does a great job. But if you do ever buy bottled lime or lemon juice, make sure there's no additives, no sugar, any of that kind of shit. Alright, but today we're juicing our citrus fresh. We're gonna be juicing our lime juice for the Daiquiri. So I always start by just cutting up all the citrus I need and getting it laid out. Alright, now once you cut your citrus, you're gonna want to juice your citrus. So go ahead and grab a hand juicer, an electric juicer if you have it. When juicing citrus, you want to put it rind side up. You're gonna give it a squeeze. You open back up, give it one more squeeze, and we can discard that. Now, quick little note. About 25 limes will get you a liter of citrus juice. And that's important to note because a liter of citrus juice equals 33.814 ounces. And because your Daiquiri consists of 3/4 ounce, that means a liter of lime juice will equal roughly 45 cocktails. Now, if you don't need to make 45 cocktails, you can adjust the amount of citrus juice that you're gonna need as to not waste product. So I did about 1/4 liter, a little bit less. Now, the next step we got for our lime juice, super important. We need to double strain. So, when double straining, here's what we need. We need to grab our basket strainer, grab our lime juice, and we're gonna pour it through that mesh sieve there. Empty out that pulp. You see that little bit of pulp that came out? And twice. On the second time, you'll notice way less, but it still does get a little bit. So 2 things that are super important when juicing citrus. 1, always double strain. You want to get rid of all that pulp. And I know what you're thinking, no, but I love pulp in my orange juice. Doesn't belong. It doesn't belong in cocktails. You want a smooth mouthfeel. And number 2 is shelf life. Shelf life is super important when it comes to citrus. Lemon and lime juice are both good for 2 days. Throw it out on the 3rd day. Orange and grapefruit juice are good for 3 days, throw it out on the 4th day. And the reason why the shelf life is so important is because if you use citrus juice past its shelf life, the cocktails become astringent. It's a little, I don't know, they're just not as bright, not as flavorful. You want to use fresh citrus, so pay attention to the shelf life. So grab some blue tape or something of the sort. Make sure you always label and date your citrus. Alright, so the next piece of prep we need to do for the fabulous daiquiri is we need to make our 1-to-1 ratio simple syrup. Now the tools we're going to need for our simple syrup are a kitchen scale. You're going to want something that can weigh out grams. You're going to need a pot. You also want a bar spoon or something to stir with. Alright, so the ratio for our simple syrup is a 1-to-1. So we're going to need 1 part sugar to 1 part water. Now to make a full liter of simple syrup, you would need 500 grams of sugar to 500 grams of water. But again, a liter of that syrup equals 33.814 ounces, so that would make roughly 45 daiquiris. You don't need to make that many daiquiris, we can dole it back. Today, I'm gonna make a half liter of syrup, so I'm gonna be doing 250 grams of sugar to 250 grams of water. Turn on your scale, grab a container, place it on the scale. Make sure you zero out that scale after you put the container on there, and we're gonna weigh out 250 grams of sugar. Add that sugar to your pot. Alright, you're also going to want 250 grams of water into the pot, and we want to turn our burner on to a medium-high heat. Give it a little stir. Then you're going to want to bring that up to a boil until all the sugar is dissolved. That's when you know your simple syrup's done. Right, little side note on simple syrup for the shelf life. It is good for up to a month refrigerated. Alright, all that sugar is dissolved. You're going to want to let that cool a bit. As always, you're going to want to label and date. Alright, once that's cool, take it off the burner. Pour it into your storage container here. Wipe up any little mess you may have made. Right, there it is, the 1-to-1 ratio simple syrup. Alright, so all our prep is done. Now we're going to get on to making our daiquiris. I'm just going to pop the top on this guy. I'm going to throw a little pour spout in there. Highly suggest buying them. You can get them pretty easily online. They make pouring so much easier when it comes to cocktails. Alright, so I went ahead and put my lime juice and my simple syrup in these little cheater bottles here just to make it easier for the process of making the cocktail. So when I see a cocktail recipe with citrus in it, I know one thing, that it's gotta be shaken. If a cocktail has citrus, it has to be shaken. If there's no citrus in the cocktail, it's usually a stirred cocktail. Alright, so being that the daiquiri has lime juice in it, we know we have to shake it. So we can go ahead and grab our shaker tins. Now, a daiquiri is traditionally served up, which that refers to a stemmed glassware. I like serving them in a coupe glass like this. I think they're pretty, they're delicate. They remind me of olden time. And additionally, we're gonna need our jigger for measuring. We're also gonna need our hawthorn strainer and our basket strainer. And we're also gonna need some ice for shaking the cocktail, and most importantly, our rum. Now, I like using plantation, white rum, but use whatever your favorite rum is. This is my go-to, especially when it comes to daiquiris. Now, when building a cocktail, we always make them from least expensive ingredients to most expensive ingredients. That way, if you screw up somewhere early on, maybe you'll save yourself some rum. So, for the daiquiri, we're going to start with 3/4 ounce lime juice. If you have a 2 ounce, 1 ounce jigger, the one line below the very top of the small side of the jigger. Now you're also going to go 3/4 ounce simple syrup. And lastly, 2 ounces of rum. So that you fill just to the very top rim of the large side of your jigger. Next, we're going to need some ice. Go ahead and scoop your big shaker full of ice. Fill your short side of your shaker all the way to the top. Close our shaker like that. Flip it over. Give it a hit to seal it. And we have all our ingredients in here. We have our ice in here. We're looking for proper dilution. Now, proper dilution on a cocktail is 25%. So all of our shaken cocktails, we shake for 12 seconds. And with shaking, there is proper technique. You want to aim for 2 points when shaking, a two-handed shake. So you grab your shaker at the bottom, grab your shaker at the top, and 12 seconds. Crack your container just like that. So in order to do that, you want to take your hand here, right around the inside of the hand, the close part of the container, not the open part. You want to squeeze both sides and hit right by your thumb. And you'll hear that crack. You'll know it's done. Grab your Hawthorne strainer, grab your basket strainer, and you want to double strain the cocktails, always. Always double strain your shaken cocktails so you remove those chunky little ice bits and you get this beautiful frothy daiquiri, super refreshing. Let's taste. Oh man, it's boozy from the rum, it's acidic from the lime juice, the perfect level of sweetness with the simple syrup. Oh fuck, it's really good. There it is, the OG Daiquiri. I'm gonna finish this. Alright guys, that's it for making the daiquiri today. And I just want to say guys, become a regular somewhere. Become a regular at your local watering hole. It's the best way to support local business. And become a regular here at Happiness Bar by liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing. Hit that bell if you want notifications. We got cocktail videos coming out every Friday at 3 p.m. to get you ready for the weekend. Stay happy everyone. Now I'm gonna be honest with you, you would normally garnish this with like a lime wheel. I forgot and didn't account for it and juiced all my limes as opposed to saving one for garnishing. But hey, just like we're making this to show you how to bartend properly at home, this is a home production, baby. Bound to be some mistakes.